Theodore Roosevelt once said, I quote, "The wildlife and its habitat cannot speak, so we must and we will," I unquote. Yes, it is true that the wildlife and flora cannot speak a language we use to communicate, but they communicate a lot non-verbally. A very good afternoon, to our respected principal, Dr. Bhushan Bhave, our vice principal, Dr. Anil Tosre, our resource person for today, Shri Rajendra Kerkar, our coordinator for today's program, Sandesh Gavasa, my teachers, friend, and everyone present here. I, Ms. Divya Chari, student of FIBA BA, take this opportunity to welcome each one of you for our today's program on Natural Heritage of Goa with special reference to Goa's floral heritage, faunal heritage, and sacred groves. I now request our principal, Dr. Bhushan Bhave sir, to address the gathering.
I think I'm audible.
Yes.
Because since we are used to classroom class of structure, this much voice I should have, otherwise I am not fit to be a teacher. And I am first a teacher, then your principal. Okay. So let me welcome Shri Rajendra Kerkar, my very good friend, my friend from 1985-86 onwards. And not only a friend, but a co-worker in the field of social life. Also, he becomes from the field of environment. I belong to the field of other social aspects, other than environment. But we are working on the same lines for the betterment of and welfare of the state of Goa. In fact, when I heard this from our faculty that Mr. Rajen is coming to my college, I was very happy. I don't know whether you have visited this college earlier. You have. So he had, but since I joined in May only, I thought he's coming for the first time when I am there in the college, and I am very happy. In fact, a person like Rajen Kerkar is an asset to the state of Goa, not only to the state of Goa, to the entire world. People like him who have molded generations together. Not a single day in his life, Rajen was free, and Rajen was just doing something for his own. Never. Not a single day in his life. Every day he is traveling either here or there, not for his personal work, not for his family work, but for the sake of environment, for the sake of preservation of our rich natural resource that Goa is having. I don't know how many of you know that these Western Ghats are one of the 7 biodiversity hotspots in the world. This is how it has been said. I remember when I used to read earlier History of Goa, there was one Bhagavad Saptaha in the 6th century, which was held in Goa, and during that time Madhvacharya had visited Goa in the village Sakri, Harvalem, for the redemption of the wildlife. He had conducted that big yajna there. That is what I read, and then I admire my ancestors who were so keen in the preservation of these devrais, which Rajan is going to speak now. This devra is what we call the sacred groves, and rich culture that Goa is having. In fact, when I visited Rajasthan during my student life, I found how water was precious to them. There they called drop of muti. They called mukta, means muti for drop of water. This is how the water is precious for them. And we have 120, and this time it was 160 inches of rainfall, average rainfall. But still we have scarcity of water in the summer season. That is how we waste water. We let the water to meet the seas, and we don't, harvest it. So this is how this generation of ours, in fact everyone, why this generation, including me, everybody should have that conscious that we have to preserve our nature. And preservation will not cost you anything. Only you have to mold your life, channelize your life in such a way that I will use least plastic in my life. I will try to avoid plastic as far as possible. May it be for any occasion. Buying a bag from the market shop or whatever reason, wherever it is possible, avoid plastic, use of plastic. Then whatever plastic has come to my home, which was unavoidable, try to put it in the recycle system and don't put it in the garbage, don't put it in the ordinary disposal system. But so these are the basic things, very simple tactics by way of which we can preserve our nature. Whenever our students are going to the wildlife sanctuaries or any other place of natural beauty, we should take care that we are not going to carry any garbage from our part to over there, and we should not throw any litter that place at any moment. So these are the small things which we can do in a year. Then it's a great service to the nature and great service to the humans also, mankind also. Basically, what Rajendra is working is for the awareness about this, importance of this. And the part of which I like the most is he tries to relate it with our culture, our traditions. What were our traditions right from the time immemorial? The traditions were to live a life which is eco-friendly life. This is what we learn. If we see the life of the ancestors, it is eco-friendly life. How much can we live an eco-friendly life today? It is not just not using plastic or not doing pollution, nothing like that. It is switching over to that part of life. आमी किरे खातात, आमी किरे विकते हाडतात. So all this matters. How much things we cook at our home are hygienic and healthy. See, the thing is that in the last 1.5 years of pandemic or 2 years of pandemic, India suffered minimum loss to their health. Why it was? Other countries, there was havoc there. You must have seen how other countries are suffering. But India was having minimum effect of this pandemic on our health. Why? Because of our traditional way of food, traditional way of living behavior, and traditional way of our entire culture that we follow. So if we can continue that type of a culture by becoming modern, does not mean you have to become Western. You can become modern by still remaining Indian also, with Indian ethos and Indian traditions. So if we keep that thing in our mind, then I think this is the part which Rajen wants to highlight through his every speech which I have heard. I have shared stage with him many times. I have heard his speeches for many times. I read his articles through media, both print and electronic. And I am happy that today he is with us, and he is going to speak to you about the conservation and preservation of this rich natural heritage that Goa is having. We are known by this Sayari Ghats, Western Ghats as we call. The very name Sunapran given to this land means Suna means Suvarna, which is golden, and Aprant means the portion which is facing the sea of the Western Ghats. So our identity itself is these Western Ghats. So if we lose that identity, nothing will remain here. There will be no tourist who will come to Goa to see Goa, this beautiful land. So all our present life, all our present economy, all our every walk of life, preservation of this wildlife is very important, on which Rajen is going to speak. So without wasting much of his time, and for giving him maximum time that is possible to interact with you, and I request you not to only hear him, not to only listen to him one way, to ask him questions, to have interaction with him, and you try to find out a path for your life. As I say in many of my lectures, I request that every one of us should strive to do two things in life. One, planting a tree, if not possible, say every year, at least in 5 years, one tree, and writing a book, either it is e-book or print section, anything. But these are the two things which we should have. Today we had another part of it. We should at least, try to research at least in one area of environment, which Rajen might throw before us many topics of liking, and we should, if we can take up at least one topic of his speech and start research on our side. We may choose any profession, we may become lecturers, we may become teachers or businessmen, or we may be in the service, it doesn't matter. but we will take it as our lifelong mission, at least one topic, one subtopic of which Rajendra is going to highlight before us. So with that words, I again welcome Shri Rajendra to this college. I thank my colleagues, faculty members for organizing this talk for you. See, whenever such talks are organized, you should willingly participate in them. It should not happen that teachers are after you. They are not getting any special incentives or promotion or any career advancement benefits out of doing these programs. They are doing it for the sake of you, for your welfare. So whenever you are deputed somewhere, don't think that चला आमकां आतां थंय धाडल्यात 30 जाणां थंय धाडल्यात आमकां थंय वचपाक अशें तरेन वचूं नाका. Try to get something from that program which will help to develop your life in a meaningful way. So again, I welcome Rajendra. I also welcome our Vice Principal, Dr. Khosre, my other faculty members, and I wish you a very good session by Rajendra. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Flowers always make people feel better and happier. As a token of our appreciation, I request Ms. Niruta Sotimagar, a student of FIBA B.Ed, to offer potted plant to our principal. The Vice Principal.
No, we have the host. One is enough first. Go ahead. This side.
Thank you, Niruta. I now request Sri Rajendra Kerkar sir to take over.
Just to interrupt, we are filing our AQAR for next purpose on 22nd. And today is 20th, so there is a meeting which is going on in the adjacent room. So I request Rajendra to kindly excuse me for this. Please start.
Respected principal and my close associated in the field of socio-cultural, the Vice Principal, Khosre sir, and the coordinator of today's program, Professor Sandesh Gao sir, and the members of the teaching faculty, and you, my budding teachers. Natural heritage of Goa, we all are related to it, and it is bounden duty. If you read the Constitution of India, Article 48 and Article 51, these are the two important articles which make us aware about what are our duties, what are the duties of the state, what are the duties of the citizen. So, if you want to protect the environment, ecology and wildlife, you should know what is wildlife around you. And as far as the natural heritage is concerned, we are blessed by the Western Ghat, as sir has already told you, that the Sahyadri and the west coast part of India, these are the two important entities which Goa is inheriting. And if we want Goa to keep for posterity, it is high time for all of us to protect and conserve this land. And environment and ecology is very important, because unless and until you protect it, you will not going to get the drinking water or the oxygen. You can start presentation. So that is why for the survival of the mankind, environment is very important, and that is why our constitution emphasizes on environment. My first slide takes you to the Western Ghat part of India, and sir has already mentioned about how we are getting rich rainfall. So rich rainfall is depicted in India iconographically in this form. This is the sculpture of, can anybody among you tell me what is it? Gajalakshmi. So this is Gajalakshmi. However, in Bicholi Taluka, Sattari, Dharbandoda, people call it as Kebai. Whereas in worldwide, only people call this deity as Gajanta Lakshmi. There is no Gajanta Lakshmi in Goa. But as people are calling this deity as Gajanta Lakshmi, we have to accept it. So Gajalakshmi is the deity which you can see if you go to Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh there is one beautiful temple at Alampur. After Karnool, if you go straight, you reach in the place called Alampur. So in Alampur at the entrance you will find this Gajalakshmi. Or if you go to the central India in Madhya Pradesh, in Bhopal, 26 kilometers is Sanchi Stupa of Buddha. So here you will find a Gajalakshmi, but in Buddhism, Gajalakshmi is considered as the mother of Gautam Buddha. If you go to Satara, Sangli, or to Karnataka, or any part in the Western India, you will find this deity. So in India, people worship this deity because this is the deity which is related with Jal, water, jungle, forest, and Zameen means the soil. And you know the soil is very important for all of us. Mati kahe gumar se, tu kyo ronde mohe, ek din aisa avega, main rondungi tohe. Clay is very important. Just as sir told you that take some duties in your life. Write book or plant the tree, or third thing it mentioned, do the research. And research is very important. So for example, if you do the research, you will find that this deity is mentioned in various research books. If you take the case of Dr. R.C. Dhere, his book Lajja Gauri is a very beautiful book. In English, Papul Jaikar, who was the cultural advisor for then Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, she wrote Earth Mother. Then we have the book written by Sonathar Gunther on the pastoral deities. So all focus is on how the evolution of gods and goddesses take place. This deity actually is the representation of the southwest monsoon wind which brings the rain to us. Here you will find two elephants are there, and two elephants represent the clouds. When the cloud bursts, the rain starts. So here you will find the Gajalakshmi. On the head of the Gajalakshmi, two royal elephants are pouring the water through the pitcher. So this is the representation of the rain, and this Gajalakshmi is very important. 3 kilometers from Valpai of Sattari Taluka, if you visit a village called Kurshi, there you will find this Gajalakshmi. And here this Gajalakshmi is very important because on this sculpture you can see the representation of one grass. Got it, no? Grass representation is there. We call it coconut. So coconut is a palm, we say it. And remember, the coconut we consider as a tree. Goa consider it as a tree. And we have the state tree. What is the state tree of Goa? Matti. Earlier, Matti was the only one state tree of Goa. But rectification was done and coconut is also given status of the state tree of Goa. Matti, the Terminilla elliptica is the botanical name of this tree. Can you name the state animal of Goa? Gaur or bison, Gaurero. Got it, no? So here you will find the elephants are worshipped. Elephant among the mammals possess the largest brain. Got it, no? Sukha Karta, Dukha Harta, we call Ganpati as Buddhidata. Why? Because elephant has the largest brain among all the mammals. That is why in India we have the tradition of worshipping Gajalakshmi. Gajalakshmi is the representation, and you can see She is the deity of the samruddhi, prosperity, and you have the coconut. Remember, the coconut is not an Indian. Got it, no? Coconut came to India from the deepest and the biggest ocean of the world, Pacific. So long, long ago, if you read the books, like for example, in 14th century, Ibn Battuta came to India. He was a traveler, he wrote about his account. In 14th century, he visited the island called Anjadiv. Anjadiv is the part of the Kanpur Taluka, now it is under the Navy. Got it, no? So in this island village, he saw the coconut for the first time. So he was from, the areas where, the mostly scorching sun is there. From there he came to India. And if you read the writing of, for example, if you read the autobiography of Babur, who is considered as an invader, got it, no? But the autobiography written by Baburnama, provides you the glimpses of India's natural heritage. For example, when he saw first time the dancing peacock, he was enthralled. Got it, no? So Ibn Battuta saw the coconut and he also was enthralled, he was surprised. Got it, no? So when he asked for eating something to eat, there was nothing. He wrote that there was nothing available for eating there. So one sage who was meditating, he meditated for some time, and a coconut was fallen down. So he took that coconut and thrown to the person and told him, eat it. Got it, no? And you can make hundreds of things out of the coconut. For example, as a teacher, you are now the student, but after 2 or 3 years you will be in teaching faculty. So what you are in traditionally in India, we see that teacher role is just to teach the student what is available in the book. You are doing, your professors are doing, but it is not only the duty of the teacher to teach whatever available in the book, but teacher should go behind it. Got it, no? Vijay Datta Lutlikar, a lab assistant in one of the school, he makes 100 items out of the coconut. Thrown coconut ball, he can make hundreds of items. Bangles, necklaces, nose studs, earring. Got it, no? I also can make. So that is why, as a teacher, you should use your creativity. During the pandemic, sir was telling how the whole world was suffering, and Indian people, because of the traditional way of life, how they were enjoying the life. So in the same way, you can derive a lot of pleasure, you can make your life happy by using your creativity. And there are hundreds of things. For example, sir told you how to make use of the plastic. For example, wherever I go, I am welcomed by offering a bouquet which is covered by the plastics. And if you come to my house, you will find most of my books are covered with whatever plastic given to me. What I will going to do? By burning plastic, I am creating the problem for this Mother Earth. So that is why judiciously you have to think what I am doing. Whether all the gift which I am offering to the person should be wrapped with the plastic, wrapped with the so many items which are hazardous for the environment, or I should find out the solution. So as a teacher, it is your duty to find out the solution. Next slide. We have Daboli Airport. Why immediately after the liberation of Goa, the Goa was liberated on 19 December 1961. So immediately the Indian Navy took over the Daboli Airport. What was the reason? The Pakistan is very near to India. Because of what? Because of this Arabian Sea. So Goa gained importance culturally, socially, environmentally and historically because of the Arabian Sea. We are blessed by the 106 kilometer west coast is there in Goa. And if you go 200 kilometer away from Marmagoa, you know the Marmagoa. Got it, no? Marmagoa is known for the port. But earlier Marmagoa was known as Murgaon. What is Murgaon? Murgaon got the name because of Murum Gram. Murum means the porous stone. The Jambu Khada, what you call Zamba Dagad. It is full with the Zamba Dagad there. Jambu Khadab is there, porous stone is there. It absorbs the water. So that is why it got the name Murum Gram. The people from the Morocco called Moir also came and settled in this town. That is why people started calling the people who came from the Morocco became popular as the Moor people. So Murgaon. The another name for this area, this village, this town is Vasco. Why? Because in 1453, Turk conquered Istanbul. Today it is called Istanbul, but earlier it was called as Constantinople. So this Constantinople was captured by the Turk, Ottoman Turk. So they stopped the land route connected to India. Alexander the Great entered India through the land route, and when he saw the river, which is in national anthem we say Sindh River. Sindh River is not there in India. Sindh is in Pakistan. So this Sindh was seen by them, and because of the Sindh River, in Persian language there was no alphabet related to yes, so that is why they started calling the river as Hindu, and the people who are living on the bank of this river got the name Hindu. So Hindu is the name of the river. Remember, it is not the name of the religion. So that is why I will name Tilo the Mashkarnish, the great freedom fighter of Goa. He was calling himself a Hindu. He was born in a Christian family, but he used to call himself a Hindu. And he was very much proud about the Ramayana, Mahabharata. And he was the person who translated whole writing of Ravindranath Tagore. His original name is Tagore. There is no Tagore in India. Got it, no? The British made it Tagore because Ravindranath brother was the first Indian to pass what exam? ICS exam. Who was he? Satyendranath Tagore. He was the commissioner of, he was appointed as the commissioner of Karwar. So Ravindranath was there along with his brother in Karwar. So that is why the beach in Karwar is known as the Ravindranath Tagore beach. So Ravindranath writing was translated into Portuguese by Tilo the Mashkarnish. Tilo the Mashkarnish was a great freedom fighter of Goa. As we are celebrating 60 years of Goa's independence, it is your bounden duty to know who is this Tilo the Mashkarnish. Got it, no? And Tilo the Mashkarnish, Goa was liberated in 1961, and Tilo the Mashkarnish was made free from the prison in the 1970s. So how many years he was in prison after Goa's liberation? Almost for 9 years. Got it, no? So you don't know about him. So one book is there, written by Kerkar and published by National Book Trust of India. Read it, and then you will get the information about the Tilo the Mashkarnish. So I was telling you about the Marmagoa and Vasco da Gama. Got it, no? Vasco da Gama in 1453 Turk conquered Constantinople, and there was the struggle race began for searching the new sea route to India, and it was Vasco da Gama who was successful. He came in 1498. He reached Kozhikode in Kerala. Kozhikode is the modern Calicut. So there he reached. Visit the Kochi, and then you will get so many things to understand. So then first Vasco da Gama was the first navigator to discover the sea route to India, and that is why in Goa, Portuguese gave name to the town as a Vasco. And you know, in 1683, Sambhaji Maharaj came to Goa. He invaded Goa and invaded Bangladesh, and that is why Portuguese had to shift their capital city right from Panjim. They shifted the capital city to Murgaon, and that is why this place is also known as Sambhajinagar. Got it? No? Three names for the one place, and from this Vasco, Murgaon, if you go 200 kilometers, you can see this Mas Bubi. This bird is very beautiful. You know, in Goa we have almost 450 plus birds, and this is one of the birds. So you will have to go 200 kilometers inside the sea, then only you will see this. I have shown you Arabian Sea and how Arabian Sea is important for all of us. You know, we call sea as a Ratnakar. You know, the sea is very important. Because of the sea, you can go to the distant land. For example, Indus Valley civilization, we have the reference that Indus Valley civilization was having connectivity to the Oman. So in Indus Valley, Oman was known as a Magan. Oman is one of the country in Arabistan. So you can go through Pakistan to Oman through this Arabian Sea. So it is important that Goa is situated on the Arabian coast, and it is very important for all of us. Next slide. What is this? This is a stone. You know, the Goa has 12 talukas, and one of the talukas created in the year 2013 is Darbadoda taluka. So in Darbadoda taluka, when you are going from Moline to Londa, on the way you can see one stone called Baman Gudo. Got it, no? So this stone got the name because, you know, during those days, earlier days, the Saraswat community was involved in the trade and commerce. So might be these people having their houses in nearby, so that is why this stone got the name Bamangudo. So there is one waterfall in Netravali that is also called Bamangudi. So in the same way, this stone is called Bamangudo. This stone is standing on the way of highway. Got it, no? When there was no India, then there was no continent called Asia. When there was no Himalaya, this stone was there. How old this stone you can imagine? 3.4 billion year old stone. And geologically, this stone is called Trongenomite gneiss, G-N-E-I-S-S. If you want more information, my book is there, Natural Heritage of Goa. You will get more information on it. Available on Amazon. So this is the oldest stone of Goa. There are two places in Goa. One is Paloli in Kanpur, and this is in Darbadoda Taluka. Stone is standing. This belonging to the Trongenomite gneiss. So, you know, there were a continent and ocean called Panthalissa. So during that period, this stone was there, and afterward, you know, Australia, the southern part of America, they got drifted away, and India was with the Madagascar, which was earlier the part of the Africa. Africa also got away, and today you can see we have the resemblance with the country called Madagascar. Whatever trees which are there in Madagascar, you can see in Goa also. For example, one day you can visit to the place called Akshi. Got it, no? Akshi, you will find 13 baobab trees. So 13 baobab trees are there on the Sulabhat lake. 13 baobab trees are. Baobab are very important. If I start telling you about baobab. Baobab, unique. When there is no water available anywhere, you can make the hole to the trunk of the baobab and put the pipe and you can drink the water. But baobab fruit, for example, is Morji, for example, one baobab tree is there, and Patki who are residing in Morji, they make kamandolu out of the this pod of the baobab. So that is why in India, baobab is called as the Gorakchinsa. It is the oldest, one of the oldest tree, which can live how many years? 4,000 years. So in one of the book, it is recorded that the tree is standing 4,000 years. So I got one tree in Tirari, Tetramus nudiflora, Shirmache Jhad, which is almost more than 500 years old. I don't know, maybe 1,000 years old. So for example, I got one tree in Paole, in Poinini, Portugal, which can be one of the oldest tree in Goa. So it is almost 2,000 years old. Portugal, where you can see the Gokarna Samsthan mud is there. So this is the oldest stone of India, 3.4. If you want the more information, you can go through my articles which are available on the net also. Next. There is one book called Cultural History of Goa, written by Ananta Srinvidhume. So this book gives you information about the whole of the Goa. For example, Western Ghat was under the sea. Got it, no? The water of the sea was there, and the concrete evidence of this you can get through this. People are going to northeast part of India or Andaman and Nicobar to see the limestone caves. Sargamite, sectite are there, and you can see these are the caves, limestone cave. From Hivre Khurd of Sattari to Vainini of Sattari, you can see the limestone caves. So limestone caves are there, and this is a wonderful limestone cave in Sattari at a place called Surla. If you go to Zarot, it's over the very risky area. Now it is 3 tigers are there in this area. Next. This is limestone. In Sattari we have the huge stone. This is called Mama Bhachacho Guno or Bhugo Guno. Bhugo Guno is named after Bhim of Pandava. And one of the piece we brought and analyzed in the geological laboratory, and it is revealed that it is the limestone. So this is the limestone, and you can see how beautiful stone structures are there in Goa. So in Sattari Taluka, when you go inside a jungle from this village called Satre, you have to walk inside, or Kodal, you can reach to this beautiful place. Next. सृष्टि से पहले सद नहीं था, असद भी नहीं था, अंतरिक्ष भी नहीं था, क्या छिपा था उस अगन अतल, जल भी कहा था. When water came, the life originated. And in Goa also, and in various parts of the world, you can see the vegetation is there. So this vegetation is very old. How old is this vegetation? 140 million year old Myristica swamp vegetation. It is there in Goa. When there was no Himalaya on the earth, you can see 140 million years ago, Myristica swamp vegetation in the Taluka of Sattari, just 7 kilometers away from the Vapai, in the village called Malwari. There is a sacred grove called Viranjol Rai. In Brahmakaramari, Azobashi Tadi is there, and third place is called Biptian. These are the 3 places in Sattari Taluka. Then one more place is there in Netravali. When you are going to the waterfall called Sauri waterfall, at the entrance you can see this Myristica swamp vegetation. And 3 more places are there in the village called Bati in Netravali. One at Barazan, second at Suryagarh, and third at Talavali. So when I was of your age, I was always going in the jungle. So I never sitting idle in my house. I love to see, I love to research, I love to unearth the secret around me. So that is why even today I continued my struggle. Morning I was attending one meeting, and when your sir, who is also a scientist, requested me, I love people who are doing research. So I have the respect for him. When he was a student of your age, he was associated with us. He was working with Vivekananda Environment Awareness Brigade, with the green student. He was selected as a green student, and now he is doing the research on the wasp. So I always salute to those people. I love freedom fighter. I also love the researcher. I also love the scientist. So this jungle, for example, it is your topic of the research to discover the secret of this. Already this jungle is studied by, Dr. Ashish Prabhu Desai. When I was, my leg was injured, he took me on his back to see this jungle. So I took them, and there is one place in Sattari at Brahmakarmali called Biptian, where you will find the Semicarpus catholicanaensis trees are there. Nowhere on the earth you will find the maximum number of Semicarpus catholicanaensis trees like Brahmakarmali. Brahmadeva, Kayadeva त्याचे नाव थोर. The Brahmadev from Tiswadi village was taken by Gowda person, and it became heavy, so he kept on the one mount. During that time, he ate, the bhakri made of the finger millet, nasnachi bhakri and chutney, and he drank a glass of water from the spring. So he slept, and in the dream, the Brahmadev appeared before him and told him, "Don't take me beyond this point. I want to stay in this beautiful village." So Brahmadev from the Karamboli village of Tiswadi Taluka remained forever in the village Chandiude. The Chandiude village was known for Makaranga palatata tree, Chandiudechi pana. Got it, no? And the village lost its identity, and people started calling this village as a Brahma Karmali. The old name is Chandiude. So in Chandiude village you will find this Semicarpus catholicanaensis, and these are the inverted U type of the roots are there. These are very unique ecosystem. Got it, no? Next. While going to Patarpha from Kunkuri, there is a village called Malangini. So in Malangini, you will find this cave. Almost 200 or 300 students can be accommodated by this cave. Got it, no? So inside this cave, you can see sunlight is there. This cave was inhabited by the prehistoric man. So when there was no language, when there was no culture, no clothing was there. During that time, the tribal people, the non-tribal people, or what you call the people, were residing in this cave. And if you want more information, the Dr. Nambirajan already had studied in detail about the Malangini caves. So these are the caves on the way to Patarpha. Very unique and beautiful caves are there. Next. Sata Khanda Prithvi, Sata Samundar, we always say in India. And you can see how many circles are there. 7 circles are there. Ata, Patas. We believe that these are the representation of the 7 world. Where you can see this carving, 10,000 year old. These carvings are there on the bank of the river Kushavati. How many rivers are there in Goa? How many rivers are there in Goa?
9.
There are 11 rivers in Goa. Which is the biggest river of Goa? Mandavi. How big is it? 1,580 square kilometers. What is the geographical area of Goa? 3,702 square kilometers. Which is the longest river of Goa? Zuari. How much long? 190 kilometer long river. Got it, no? So we are blessed by the 11th river, and recently I discovered one more river. My qualification, I am not a person like your Sandesh Gaus sir. I have done my post-graduation in history and sociology. but I love all this nature. So this is, you know, the laterite stone, and the laterite stones you can see 100 rock carvings are there. And this river Kushavati originates in Sange Taluka, inside the Netravali Wildlife Sanctuary, the biggest wildlife sanctuary of Goa. How big? 211 square kilometer area. There is a hill called Nasa Dongar. So from Nasa Dongar, the Kushavati river originates and then comes down. And when it comes to Revolt, at a place called Ponsai Mall, you can see this 100 rock carving. So this is, somebody called this as a labyrinth, somebody called it as a Chakravyu. Got it, no? So many ideas are there. So it is your duty to make research on this. But this is 10,000-year-old rock carving on the bank of the river Kushavati. You can see the antelopes are there, zebu are there. In Goa, Kajur is another place in Kepe Taluka. Chorpilla near to Kavre is a third place, and Maushi in Sattari Taluka is the fourth place. Also, I got some pupils in Brahmakarmari. The next. Indus Valley civilization is very important because you can see that dancing doll there. So dancing woman you can see. Here in Maushi, with the help of the brushing technique. Brushing technique means taking a pointed stone and doing the hammering with another stone. It is called brushing technique. So brushing technique is used to draw the dancing woman. So here you can see the dancing woman, and these are what? Bull. These are not bull, but they are called zebu. These are wild bull. All bulls which are there, they were in the jungle. Human beings during the Neolithic period started domesticating animals. Got it, no? Paleolithic age, Mesolithic age, and the third stage is the Neolithic age, New Stone Age. So during New Stone Age, in the village called Maushi, the prehistoric man, we can see this rock carving. So you can see the pointed horns. So these are very beautiful animals, and human being was fascinated, and you can see this zebu. And nowadays, if you go there, you will not going to see it. It is inside, it is under the soil. Next. So human beings were doing the agriculture called kumeri cultivation, seed shifting cultivation. So during that time, he was using the stone tools and implement. So these are the stone tools and implement I got in the village called Riving in Sattari Taluka in Dongurli Panchayat. So you can put the stick inside and use it as a hand axe. So this was used by the earliest man for doing the agricultural activity. Next. What is it? Harvali cave. So these Harvali caves, who created this cave? Pandavas. Because if you ask anybody, like cave or temple, they will say the Pandavas responsible for creation of all these caves. So no way Pandavas are related to this cave. These caves are created by during the period of Badami of Chalukyas. So Badamis of Chalukyas ruling over Goa 1300 years ago in 7th century AD. Badamis were ruling. So from where Badamis were ruling? Badami, I don't know whether you know the Badamis. When you go to Belgaum, from Belgaum to Bagalkot road, there is a place called Badami. You visit it. So Badamis were our ruler. Goa was ruled by different dynasties like Abhil, Traputak, Bhatpura, Kalchuri, Konkad Maurya, Badami, Chalukyas. Got it, no? So these are during the Badami Chalukyas. Badamis had their capital city in Konkan called Redi, which was known as Revati. So this is, you know, Badami Chalukyas caves are there. Next. People call it the Pandavas, but it has no relationship with it. So, Tamdisulla. On the bank of which river? What is the name of the river? Ragada river. From where it starts from the village called Karambali in Karnataka. It is inside the Kali Tiger Reserve. Then you can see the waterfall, Vajra Sakala. Downward is the village called Keri. Got it, no? I am from Keri, but I am from the Sattari Keri. In Tamdisulla there is one more Keri. So when you cross the Keri, you can see the waterfall called Vajra Sakala. In my village Keri also there is waterfall called Vajra Sakala. So this is on the bank of the river Ragado. Who built this temple? Kadamba was? Kadamba dynasty. When Kadamba dynasty was ruling over Goa? 950 to 1150. Kadambas were ruling over Goa. So there was a ruler called Shivachitta Permadi Dev. He built this temple. How I can say like this? What proof is there with me? Inscription is there inside this temple. Who discovered inscription? No inscription is available. Got it, no? The inscription is available only in Karnataka in a place called Palasika. Got it, no? 30 kilometers from Kanapur, if you go to Nangad, Hershey, got it, no? You reach the village called Palasika. It got the name Palasika because the village during the summer blossom with the flame of the forest. Flame of the forest botanically known as Butia Manasparma. Got it, no? Palsache झाड म्हणतात. So village is full with the Butia Manasparma. So that is why village got the name Palshi, Palasika, and today it is called Hershey. So inside the temple of Narsimha Lakshmi, there is stone inscription is there about Goa Kadamba period. And if you see the 8 temples which are there in this village, they are similar like this temple. So the queen used to come from Hershey to Tamrisulla via a pathway. And even today if you go to Tamrisulla and ask the people where this road goes, the people will say it is called Ranichi Pass. Ranichi Pass is the place, is the way used by Queen Kamala Devi, the wife of the Shivachitta Permadi Dev, to go to Karnataka. Got it, no? And from, if you follow the same way followed by the Rani, you can go to the village called Viranjol. And Viranjol is near to the village of Sattari called Karanjol. Viranjol and Karanjol are opposite to each other. So from Viranjol, one road comes to Tamrisulla. So this is Tamrisulla's temple, built by Shivachitta Permadi Dev on the request of his wife Kamala Devi. And on this temple I can speak for 1 hour. So behind this temple you can see the stones are standing, and these stones are almost 50,000 years old. This temple is only 800 years old and stones are 50,000 years old. I don't know whether you have seen the stone, vertical stone standing there. So beautiful temple is there. Next. This is in the village called Kaudinyapur, Kundanpur. Today it is called Kudne. A place called Gujirwada, and Kudne has almost, more than 25 temples are there. This is one of the temples of the Jain temple. So this is the temple belonging to the Pashwana, the 23rd Tirthankar of Jainism. The Jainism first Tirthankar is Rishabh Dev, Adi Dev, and 23rd Tirthankar is the Pashwana. The Pashwana broken idol was found inside the well. The Aurangzeb's son came to Bicholim. So during that time he demolished many of the temples. Got it, no? And this is the Jain temple which was demolished during that period. So built during the period of Goa, Kadamba and Vijayanagar, almost during the Vijayanagar period. Next. The Sattari, for example, was connected. The people from Gange were coming to Sattari by the boat, and you will find in almost 13 sculptures like this found in Sattari Taluka, wherein you can see the Durga Devi sitting inside the country canal. Country canal, I mean Nauka Road Devi. So 13 sculptures I got. So this is in the Savade village of Sattari Taluka. You can see the goddess is sitting, Ashtabhuja Devi is sitting inside the boat. So unique thing is there in Sattari Taluka. It indicates the maritime history of the area. Next slide. The Goa was conquered by Portuguese, and in 1514, they started destroying the temple. And the two books, one is in Konkani language, Yuga Savar, and the same author, Mahabaleshwar sir, translated his Yuga Savar in Marathi under the title called Tandav. If you read these books, you can get the information how Goa's temple, history, culture, everything was destroyed by the Portuguese. So Shanta Durga goddess was in the village called Kedoshi, and from Kedoshi, the goddess was brought to Kavli in Ponda Taluka. And in this temple, where the temple was inside the grove of the banana, Kardali Ban, Krishnadas Shama in the 16th century wrote a beautiful book in the light of the Nandadi of the temple of Shanta Durga, Sri Krishna Charitra. Got it, no? After that, immediately the temple was demolished and the goddess was brought crossing the Duwari river in Ponda Taluka, and you can see the Shanta Durga there. So this Shanta Durga temple of Kavali is very important because this temple minister Regu was in the court of the Shahu Maharaj. So Shahu gave the donation to this temple, and Bajirao first, the Peshwa, also gave donation to this temple, and that is why this temple remained intact in Ponda Taluka. Ponda Taluka during those days was ruled by Saundekar, and Saundekar were the feudatories of the Shivaji. Right from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, they were under the Marathas. Got it, no? You might be told by many speakers that Goa was ruled by Portuguese for how many years? 400? 375 years. Goa was ruled. This is not true. Only Tiswadi, Salsed and Pardes. 3 talukas. Rest of the Goa, Portuguese ruled only for 100 to 150 years. Got it, no? So this is in Ponda Taluka. Ponda Taluka during those days was under the Saundekar, and Saundekar were ruling on behalf of the Shivaji Maharaj or the Maratha ruler. So on the day of Diwali, only in 1 year, on the one day of Narak Chaturdashi, when Diwali is celebrated, in the temple you will see the 5 images, golden images of the Shanta Durga Devi are brought and worshipped. So this is only on one day you can see. This is gold idols, Utsavamurti next. So what are sacred groves? Sacred groves are protected in the name of the folk deities, and in Sattari Taluka, in Sage Taluka, Darbandura, you can see the sacred groves are there. This is the sacred grove in the village called Shigaon of Darbandura Taluka. These are the Barazan, 12 stones are there, one more slide is there. This is in the Gaudongri, a village, a hamlet called Satulli is there, and this you can see the votive figures are there, earthen figures are the horses are offered. Next, this is in Koparde of 3 km from Walpoi. The Pandamus Halata Dolata Island Eka Kegadiche born ago. Got it, no? Kegadiche born. Kegad means the Pandamus. It is the indicator of the presence of water. Kegadicha Banata Saki Nagadolato Gabai Nagadolato. So Kegdi is the indicator of the water. Wherever water is there, you can see the Kegdi burn. So that is why many springs in Goa are known as Kegdi Jor. So this is Kegdi burn, Hato what you call, Keuda. So in Kopade, in sacred groves, you can see this Kegdi burn. Next. This is in the village called Verle. Got it? Not Verle of Bardes. This is inside the Netravadi Wildlife Sanctuary. You have to climb the for example, you have to go to Tudo, and from Tudo you can reach in the village called Verle, and almost 7 people are holding the hand. This is the tree called Pakshi, Bhosulu and Jarmal. These are the trees available. You can do the research on it. This is one of the biggest sacred grove of Goa, Bhuipan. in Verle village. Next. This is on the border of Kepe, Kanpur and Sange Taluka. Three talukas meet together and you can see the Panna, Paika Panna. While going to the Bamanguda Ozar in Gaudumri, on the way coming to Mangad of Kepe, you can see this Panna, Paika Panna. Next. And while going to the village called Karanjol, three villages are there. One in Sattari Taluka, second one is in Darbagada Taluka, third one is in Penjimta. Got it? Karanjol, Kar means hand, you can take the water and drink. Karanjol. So this is the sacred grove of Karanjol. So beautiful sacred groves are there. Most of all trees are protected. You can read for more information my book, Sacred Groves of Goa. It is available at Goa State Biodiversity Board. Your sir, Dr. Bhushan Bhave, had written, edited one book called Matoli. Got it, no? This is the Matoli tradition of Goa. Wooden canopy over the head of Ganpati is decorated with a seasonal floral element. Different types of the trees, plant, decorated. Next. And this is in Poingoni. You can see the Rupesh Poinginkar in Kanpur decorated his Matoli with almost 400 items of creeper, shrubs, flowers, fruits. So this is, the seasonal biodiversity. And you, as a teacher, you can transform. For example, if you want to celebrate Christmas, give alternative to the student why they are using thermocol. Here you will find no thermocol is it. Everything is natural, clay is used and wheat, sprouted wheats are used. So you can promote such type of the decoration. When you will be working as a teacher, try to work on all these issues. For example, when I am using the pen, I should take care that my refill, I should dispose properly. If you collect 100, 200 refills and give it to the rag pickers can give you the money. So you have to plan the strategy, then you can reduce all these problems. So this is Matoli tradition. Already my articles are there on Google, so if you want more information on the Matoli, you can read my articles. Next. Almost 450 plus birds are there in Goa. So people believe that no vultures are there in Goa. So this is vulture, gidad. Got it, no? So gidad are very essential for because they are very important scavenger bird and they play important role in the maintenance of the ecology and environment. Next slide. So this is the crested serpent eagle. Crested serpent eagle can eat snakes and even the king cobra. This birds relishes on the king cobra. Next. This is lot of misconception is that if all is sitting on the house, people think that a person will going to die. So it is indicator of the prosperity. Actually, when this bird is there, the bird will help you to protect the environment because it lives on mostly the rodent, rats. Next. So this is Goshak bird. Mostly lives on the small birds. So the nature has created such type of the birds because to maintain the balance in the ecology. Next. So lot of misconception is there about the snake. So if you read the book written by Rahul Anwaris, Call of the Snake, in that book one story is there. So this snake mostly lives on the creeper or on the tree and it look for the person with the bald head and it jump on it, the head of the person, make the hole, put the egg, got it, no? And the young one comes. All this is bluffing. It has no scientific background. So this is a very delicate snake. Got it, no? It is called green vine snake. If you fail to hold the snake properly, the snake will die in your hand only. So this snake has bitten my daughter thrice. So nothing will going to happen to you. you will get the swelling for only for 12 hours, and then the swelling will minimize after that. So it is a semi-toxic snake, but you should know to identify the snakes, otherwise you can fall in the trouble. Next. So this is, whenever you will find the snake, you see the snake is looking at me. Got it, no? Snake take revenge. All these are false. So these snakes, or many snakes, they don't have the eyesight like this. So they identify only two colors, black and white. So this is the Malabar pit viper. So Malabar pit viper snake, they, on the head part, it has a two holes. So because of these two pits, the snake can know what thing is in front of him. So this Malabar pit viper, we got this photo in the Cholla Ghat in the night time. Got it, no? Beautiful snakes are there. Next. And this is the green snake, this one, and this is bamboo pit viper. Mostly found on the bamboo. That is why it is called bamboo pit viper. Both snakes are the venomous snakes. Venomous snakes means we don't call snake as a poisonous. If you call snake as a poisonous, human being is most poisonous. You try the experiment, you can take the bite of your affectionate and don't apply any medicine and see the person is living. Or you can keep something inside your mouth for 5 hours or more, and you will find it also, when you throw it out, it will carry the toxin that is inside your mouth. So we are also poisonous. So that is why snakes are venomous. Next. The largest bovine in the world. This is the state animal of Goa, bison or the gourd or gaur. So people want this animal to be declared as a vermin. They want to kill this animal. Next. The smallest deer, mouse deer, pisoi. People love to kill it and relish on the meat. Next. And this is, the slender loris, one manus. It is a primate. So you can see in the jungle of Sattari Taluka. Next. Recently the Goa government has declared this butterfly as the state butterfly. What is it? Malabar tree nymph butterfly. So in Marathi you can call it as a Malabar. Malabar is the area right from Kerala to Goa. Got it, no? So it is called Malabar tree nymph. So Malabar Vruksha Apsara. So this is the mask. So my daughter painted this mask. Got it, no? You also can create such type. As a teacher, you can generate lot of awareness. So this is Malabar tree nymph butterfly. Very beautiful butterflies, and if you want to see this butterfly, then come to Sattari Taluka, Sange Taluka, Darbandara Taluka, or go to Khotigaon. You can see this Malabar tree nymph there. Next. Which church is it? Huh? Which? This is one of the biggest church in the continent of Asia. This church is in Old Goa. Saint? It is C Cathedral Church. C Cathedral Church. Inside this you can see the 8 churches are there. If I go on telling you about this church, it will take 1 hour. What do you know? One day, anybody interested and they want more information about the churches, then you can arrange my talk. I can come free of cost and I can tell you, just as people from various parts of the world are coming to see the Basilica of Bom Jesus for what? The relics of the Saint Francis Xavier. There is one second biggest tower, St. Augustine Tower, where the remains of Queen Ketavans were found. And recently our External Minister of India, Jai Shankar, handed over these remains to the country called Georgia. Georgia is, one of the bigger country near to Russia. It was earlier the part of Russia. Union of Soviet Socialist Republic of Russia. It was the part of Russia. Russia was divided into 15 countries: Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Armenia, Croatia, and one was the Georgia. So the queen of the Georgia, when the Shah of Iran conquered Georgia, he asked the queen to marry with him. Got it, no? And told her to convert to Islam. So she refused. She died, and after her death, she was declared as a saint in the Christianity, and her bones were carried and brought in Goa, and they were kept into Augustine Tower. So afterward, my friend Nijamuddin Tahir carried out the excavation as per the information available in the books, in Portuguese book, and then the study was made and the DNA was done in the Hyderabad, and finally bones were available some bones were available in Georgia. So comparative study was done, and it was found that these bones belong to the Queen Kitawa. Got it, no? Goa is not only attraction for the human being, but also attraction for the birds also. Got it, no? The cranes are coming from Siberia to India, and you get the reference of this in Manisha the Shaswati Gamaha in Ramayana. The first look of the Ramayana describes the Siberian crane. Next. This is the Sikh cathedral. So in 1510, Alfonso Albuquerque conquered the Goa, and on 25th November he conquered Goa, and he built the chapel there, Saint Catherine. So Saint Catherine is the saint in Alexandria. So the chapel was built, and later on the patriarch of the East Indies was living inside the Sikh cathedral. So that is why Sikh cathedral gained importance, lot of importance. So this is in the Bicholi Taluka, and this is property belonging to the Hindu and the shrine belonging to the Muslim. So this is the pir of Muslim, and you can see the sacred trees are protected in the name of the pir. Next. You can see Safa Shapuri Masjid in Ponda, but this is in Surla. This is owned by the Hindu temple of in Surla. Siddheshwar temple is there, and if you come to the near to the Mandavi, river Mandavi, and when you go to Savaveri, on the way you will find a church, mosque. So this mosque is very important because the Shigmo of the Sulla village concludes here. Understood, no? And during the Shigmo festival, the people, the villagers of Sulla will come out and they will sing the song Chala Jau, Piracha Bhete, Pira Bhetla, or Devate. Such a beautiful song, and you can see the communal harmony is there. Next. When you are coming from Pori to Sakri, you can see this Babar Pit. So most of the time, the Godemani of Pori, before visiting to any Hindu temple, it will first go to this Dargah of the Pir, and here the Muzawar community will come out and offer the flower to the Godemani. Godemani is a popular dance, but performed during the Shigmo festival. Next. And this is the only specimen of the Mughal architecture in Goa. This is in Bicholi village, Namazga. This was built by Sambhaji Maharaj for his friend Akbar II, son of Aurangzeb. He was there with the Sambhaji Maharaj. So lot of misconception is there as far as Sambhaji Maharaj is concerned. So this mosque was built by Sambhaji Maharaj. Next. Goa, in Goa people love Varli art. Varli art is from the Maharashtra. What type of the art was there in Goa? So this is the Kavi art. My daughter painted the mask. So these masks are in the great demand in various parts of the world. People want this mask because she painted in the art of the Kavi. So this is Kavi art. You can see the lion. Next. Hanuman, ape god. One more slide. This is, you can see Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. most of the elements of the biodiversity in the Kavi art. And this is the temple earlier painted in the Kavi. One more slide. Advalpal temple, 300-year-old temple is standing there, and this color was painted for almost more than 200 years. It remained intact because the people who built this temple, they were very intelligent. They know that the climatic condition of Goa is hot and humid, and chemical color will not live long. So that is why they use this Kavi art. So this Kavi art you can make popular. If you want more information, you can contact me. I can provide you a lot of information and you can popularize this Kavi art of Goa. Next. 41 forts are there in Goa. So forts of Goa, book written by P.P. Shirodkar, can give you the knowledge about the forts of Goa. This is the sketch of the fort of Resh Magush in Vele. What do you know? So this is the sketch, and now the beautification is done of this fort. Next. This is the entrance of the fort. This is the beautified portion of the fort inside. This is the topmost portion of the fort facing to the Arabian Sea and the Mandavi River. Cannons are there, and this is the place office. Got it, no? And one more slide. This is the walls facing to the Mandavi River. So this is one of the beautiful fort of the Goa, where the freedom fighter Madhulime was kept. Earlier it was used as a prison. The Aguat, for example, Aguat got the name Aguat because Agua in Portuguese means the water. So boats coming from Kerala were waiting near Agua for water, filling the water. So the water of Goa was world famous during modern time. And even today, you know that Kodal village of Satari Taluka, people are coming from various parts of the world for taking the water from the Kodal village of Satari Taluka. Even to Hyderabad, the water is carried. Next. This is the fort of the Nanus. Now the slogan is there, Chalo Nanus to see the fort. There is no fort in Nanus, remember. This fort is totally demolished by the Portuguese. This is the old picture of the fort of the Nanus, and that is the Dipagi Rani. The first revolt of Goa, the first revolt of India took place in the year 1857. The first revolt of India was there in the village called Punkolim in Salsette in the year 1583. And then you have 1852, Dipagi Rani's revolt. On 26 January, he captured the fort of Nanus, and that is why in Sattari you have the folk song. Sata Sattari Made Konavira Bali Ba Konavira Bali Rede Ghatika Bandai Tuji Shabbas Rana Re Bandai Tuji. So this is the folk song composed in honor of the Dipagi Rani. In 1875, 1893, Dada Rani Advaikar, he was the leader of the revolt, got it, no? And he captured many of the territories of the Portuguese. So finally, Portuguese had to shift their capital city, and they took the capital city to other place because of the Dipagi Rani. So Dipagi Rani was very powerful, Dada Rani was very powerful. So finally, the Shankaracharya of Sankeshwar was invited in Goa and treaty was signed. However, immediately after it, Dada Rani, on the charge of the murder, was sent to the Aden, and Aden is in near to Indonesia, inside the Pacific Ocean. So there he was kept, and nobody knows what happened to him and his son. So the chapter of the history of the Rani's revolts are full with such type of the stories. Next. गडद निळे जलद भरून आले शीतल चरण चपल चरण अनिल गण निघाले. You can see, निळ्या खाडीच्या काठाला माझं हिरवच गाव जगात मी मिरवितो त्याची लावून आणा. बाबू बोरकर, you know the well-known poet of Goa. If you visit the village called Bori, very beautiful village, and if you go to Sattari Taluka, you can see the lush green Sahyadri hills. So this is beauty of Goa. When you plan the picnic, don't take the student to popular destination. Take them to the unknown area. Got it, no? And explain them about the rock art, about the forts, about the poets. Got it, no? So it is your duty when you will be entering into teaching profession. You should take this responsibility. Next. Goa is very beautiful. This is Vajra Sakla, 47 meter from the top. The river Valmati jumped down, and you can see the Vajra Sakla waterfall of Virdi in Maharashtra, and then it comes to Keri. Next. This is Vajra Sakla waterfall of Tambisulla. Next. And this is in Vivre, got it, no? Vivre Khud, Vivre Budru. Next. This is in Sulla, Larkesh over there. This is Bamanguda over there in Netravali. While going to Netravali, from Netravali to Kanpur, you can see in the village called Gavdongri. Next, Bamanguda. And this is the beautiful waterfall of the Dudhsagar. Gorkar wrote a poem, Hasa Karkar Dudhsagara, Fake a face of Pandra. 300 meter, the water jumps down of the Katla and Parna. The Khandepa river jumps down in the village of Sonaval, and you can see this waterfall called Ocean of Milk, Dudhsagar. When there is no water, on 31st of the May, you can see the waterfall of the Vajra Poya. This is Vajra Poya waterfall. In the month of the May, you can see this perennial waterfall. Next. Patama Namana Ganapati, Maga Namala Saraswati, Ranmali. Very beautiful tradition of the folk culture is there. And through folk culture, you can see the people tells us about Sharadagi Sundaratu Marara Suvarazali, more with the peacock. You find the reference of the peacock in the songs of the Ranmali. Next. Pulyan Kevita Musanso, Patlanso, so Tisrianso, Illi Samshi Bhagrachi, Pituna Sabin Muslim Chandrashi. This is the real Musandrutya performed by Sade, the Kshatriya of Chandur. This is the original dress of the people. And whatever you are seeing, that is the creation. And this is performed by the Christian community. Got it, no? These are the Christians of the Chandrapur. Chandrapur was the old capital city. So from there the capital city was brought to the Goa Villa called Gopakapattam or Goapuri. Next. This is the beauty of Goa. If you love Goa, then as a teacher you can promote this type of the autumn agriculture, Vaimani Sheti. Next. This was earlier inside the river. You can see the Puran Sheti was. Traditional silt-based cultivation was there in Goa. Now nowhere you will find the traditional silt-based cultivation in Goa. Next. This was the Puran in the Sonar. Everything became the estate. And next. We have the tradition of planting different types of the vegetables in Goa. Porso, what we call. Next. We are only namesake Goan people because we don't love Goan vegetable. What type of the vegetables you are eating every day? Potato, no? Batata. You know batata, batata vade. Got it, no? So batata is not an Indian thing. It came from Latin America. And we are not eating any Goan and Indian vegetable. If you come to my place, my house, you can enjoy some of the vegetables of Goa. So this is Sclerodendron serratum, Varangi. You can fry these flowers. You can cook the vegetable out of the leaves of the Sclerodendron serratum. Got it, no? And if you want bhaji, don't use besan. You can use the fleshy part of the Tamil Nadu ulginusa. These are called pendre. You can, if you go to village in Satari Taluka, Pendra, you can see this pendre. Got it, no? So before doing any experiment, please contact me. My number is available with the sir. Same type of the fruits are very toxic. They are called wild guava, gale. उलटी आणि बाहेर जातली. Got it, no? So before doing experiment, please contact me. And you know, because of the COVID, SARS, this creeper is very popular in Goa. Thinnosperma cardiifolia. Cardiifolia because it is good for the heart. However, people make use of the stem, kado karpa vapartat, decoction. But if you cut the leaves and cook the vegetable, you can enjoy the very medicinal vegetable. For example, Lia indica, Dinachi pana, you can cook the vegetable. So Goan, our namesake Goan, got it, no? So just like on 15 August, we रडत सुनता विजय विश्व तिरंगा प्यारा झंडा ऊंचा रहे हमारा. And then after eating chocolate, we throw the wrapper down to make India more dirty. Got it? We don't want to follow the instruction given to us in 1986 by passing the Environment Protection Act. 1986 पर्यावरण संरक्षण कायदा झाला तरी अजूनही भारतातले लोक चॉकलेट करता रस्त्यावर उडयतात. माय कंट्री, आय विल पोल्यूट दिस कंट्री. कोण म्हाका आयकतलो, कोण who is going to ask me questions? So nobody want to listen, and that is why we are spoiling our India. Next, why we want tiger? This was the tiger photograph clicked by PCCF, Chief Conservator of Forest Vijay Mohan Raj in the forest of Bhimgarh. We were tracking this tiger and we found the videos of this tiger. So if you go on Google and go and see the web link, Vivekananda Environment Awareness Brigade documentary film is there on the tiger. So you can see these tigers in the camera trap, and presently this tiger is in the forest of the Sattari. Next. So tigers is very important. So this is in Dongurli, in Darbanoda. There is a village called Dongurli. Dongurli is also there in Thane, and Dongurli also there in Kule. So this is the temple of the tiger, where tiger is worshipped. Why tiger is worshipped? Because if you protect the tiger, then only you will going to get the water. So if you minus tiger, no water will be there. So in Goa presently we have 3 tigers, and all 3 tigers are in the Madai Wildlife Sanctuary, the second biggest wildlife sanctuary of Goa. Next. This is pistachio cone. Got it in Krishnapur. Very beautiful staring, and these are the massive fish. Got it, no? This fish has very big head. You know, in Goa we have mullet as the shoto as the state fish of the Goa. But these are very beautiful fish. No one do fishing in this pistachio cone because they are protected. No one should put any explosive there. So protection is there. Fishes are protected. So you can see this photograph and see the background of the Bhimgarh Wildlife Sanctuary. This is on the bank of the Mahadai River, on the border of Goa, Kadwal village of Sattari Taluka, and Krishnapur hamlet of the Khed village of Khanapur Taluka. Next. So this is all my presentation, the natural heritage of Goa. So if any questions are there, it will be very of finished for you. So thank you to your sir Sandesh Javas and members of the teaching faculty and the principal for providing this forum to me. So any question, query, you can ask me. इथे प्रश्न असल्यास विचारू शकतात. काही प्रश्न असतील तर विचारू शकतात. हिंदी, मराठी, कोकणी, इंग्लिश. Yes. Yes, you can ask.
So, I'm really grateful because you came to our college. I've already read your Natural Heritage of Goa book. It was quite amazing. Well, I have a question for you. My question is regarding the Purancheti. Could you throw some light on Purancheti type of agriculture?
Purancheti was once upon a time Purancheti was done once upon a time right from Uste to Gange. More than 40 villages were involved in it. But when the Vasanta Bandaras were built, so Vasanta Bandaras were responsible for raising the water level right from Uste to Gange. So because of this, the tradition is no more there. In traditional seed-based cultivation, inside the river, people will do the fencing and minimize, and before that they will put a small check dam and they will monitor the flow of the water. So when the flow of the water is monitored, they will put the fencing and then they spread some clay and the seed, and on it they will transplant the paddy. So they get those people who don't have any type of the land, mostly the landless people, they were involved in the traditional seed-based cultivation. So they were getting 4 times more paddy yield because of the Purancheti. And most of the villagers were using the organic manure. So they were not doing any use of the chemical fertilizers. So this tradition was there in Sattari Taluka and some part of the Dharwanoda and Sange. Now not a single village in Goa is doing the Purancheti traditions. And if you want more information about it, already my articles are there on the Google. So you can put the Purancheti and put my name on the Google, so you will get the information and the photographs.
Okay, sir.
Yes?
Good day, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir, could you tell me what was the criteria for selecting the state butterfly of Goa?
The list was finalized, and 5 names of the 5 butterflies were put on the through the newspaper. The details were given, and also on social media and online. People were invited to give the opinion, and many people voted for the Malabar training, and they also asked the opinion of the expert, and almost from 2000 I wanted that there should be a state butterfly, and when Ajay Saxena was the principal chief conservator of the forest, I gave him the letter that the Malabar tree name should be given the tag of the state butterfly, and I have mentioned the reason why this butterfly should be given the tag, because many wanted that the southern birdwing, the largest butterflies of the southern India, to be given the state butterfly tag, but I explained that this butterfly is the indicator of the evergreen and semi-evergreen patches of the forest, and this butterfly mostly found hovering on the tree canopy inside the cool shade of the trees, and very few patches are left. So if we want this butterfly, then there is need of protecting this forest area. So when you declare any butterfly as the state butterfly, then it is the responsibility of the state government to protect its habitat. So there are different criteria. Most of the state consider, for example, Maharashtra declared Nilpari, blue marmon, as the state butterfly, because this is very beautiful butterfly. In comparison to the blue marmon, this southern bird, this Malabar tree nymph has only 2 colors, white and black, but its flight is very attractive. Yeah.
Hello sir. Sir, I have one question, that why all sacred groves, most of the sacred groves are located at isolated areas? Why so?
Earlier what happened, most of the sacred groves were near to the settlement, near to the where the peoples or the temples were there. But now you will find that the sacred groves are rapidly disappearing. The best example is in Shuolim village. In Shuolim, you will find Shuolim is a part of the Bangladesh. So during the Portuguese regime, they established their rule and demolished most of the temple in Shuolim. But if you visit a place called Dardev in Shuolim and you ask what is the old name of this place, the people will tell you that the old name of this place is called Rhine. So Kirti Vidyalaya of Shuolim is situated in Rhine. So earlier it was a area where sacred grove was there, but nowadays increase in the building area responsible for demolishing these sacred groves. And in Satsari Taluka, wherever the sacred groves where the people build the temple and no sacred grove left, very few pockets are left where you will find that traditionally people believe that if you cut this tree, then you have to face the wrath of the god. So that is why in few areas, for example in Mapsano, earlier Bodgeshwar was inside the grove of the bamboo and people were calling him as a Kankeshwar. Kankeshwar means, Kanak means bamboo, got in a golden color bamboo. And our former Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, used to call bamboo as a gold. Got it, no? So Kanak also means the Swane, Suvarna. So Kankeshwar means the Bodgeshwar. Afterward, people started calling the Holy Spirit as Bodgeshwar. Bodgeshwar got the name because of the Bodgini. Bodgini means the Pandamus. Pandamus is a species similar to the Kevda. Got it, no? Bodgini Chidharam. Got it, no? So because of the Bodgini, he became the Lord of the Bodgini. So today you will not find a single Bodgini plant there, but you can find the huge cement construction there and few trees are there. So that is why few areas are left where you can see the sacred groves are there. Because of our destruction, because of the weakness of the belief and traditions.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye.
Gajalakshmi is also known as Kerkar in some places. Can you just recall the names?
Huh?
You said that Gajalakshmi is also known as Kerkar, right? So can you just recall the names where Gajalakshmi is known as Kerkar?
The beautiful temple of the Gajalakshmi is in the Mayam village. Got it, no? And if you go in a place called Kudal, from Kudal, 20 kilometers is a village called Chenduan. So in Chenduan, you will find one hamlet, Vado, where the Mayakar people are there. And while going to Malabar, on the way you can find the biggest temple of the Kebai of Mayan near to Malabar. And most of the people bearing the name Mayakar were originally from Bicholim Taluka. Prala Mayakar, the well-known playwriter, Vastraharan writer, was originally from Goa, got it, no? And the temple of Kebai in Mayan is existing in Maya village before coming of Shivaji to Goa. So I have the Modi document which prove that the temple of Kebai in Mayan was existing even in the 16th century. Got it? So Kebai, she is called Kebai in this area, and most of the part of the Sattari or near to the border of the Sattari, there is a Belgaum district, Uttar Kannada district and the Sindhudurga district where this deity is called as Kebai, Kelambika, Kalamba Devi. All these are the names of the Gajalakshmi.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Could you please tell us something about animal sacrifice?
Animal sacrifice practice you will find in most of the religion of the world. If you go to Africa, or if you come to Arbastan, Bakri, for example, the sacrifice of the goat is done. And in Goa, you will find most of the temple of the Shiva, the sacrifice practice was there. The biggest Shivlinga of Goa and the Konkan is in Vadaval, a hamlet of Latambarshe, the biggest village of Bicholim Taluka. So here earlier, the human sacrifice practice was there. The human being were sacrificed in the name of the religion. This practice was banned during the Portuguese regime. Got it, no? Afterward, in Moyen, there was practice of sacrificing buffalo. In Hadkon, near Banasari, there was tradition of sacrificing buffalo. In Verling of Sangi, there was practice of sacrificing buffalo. So all this area, there was a tradition of Redechi Datra. Got it, no? Now people sacrifice cock. On Sunday and Wednesday in Keri of Satari Taluka, there is tradition of sacrificing cock. And if you visit during the Paush month, this is Margashish, then comes the Paush. So if you go to a village called Talauli, Bori and Bhom, you find the practice of sacrificing sheep. For whom? For the crocodile. The festival is called Mange Thapni. The insignia, that is the symbolic worship of the crocodile is done, effigy of the crocodile is done, and then the sacrifice is done. So sacrifice is there, and Pednim, for example, Pednim Dasra, you can see the sacrifice tradition is there. And if you go to Tros Maton, there you will find a Zaiti Dev. 360 cocks are sacrificed for Zaiti Datra. That is in near to the Pednim, Matonkar, Unmila Matonkar place, Tros Maton. Ranmale, the name Ran means Yuddha, Male means, the torch. Earlier, the torch was used to perform this folk dance, and if you want more information on it, my documentary is there, Ranmale. So earlier it was performed in the light of the torch. Got it, no? By lighting the torch, the Maratha community, those who consider themselves as a Maratha, they belonging to the warrior caste. Got it, no? They came on the horseback and they killed the aboriginal, the original settler of the land. Why? So, for various reasons. One day they organized one ceremony and he offered them the alcoholic drink. So when they were engrossed in alcohol, they performed the drama, got it, no? And killed them, massacred them. So Ran Male. So Ran Male, that is why every year, in order to pacify the spirit, there is tradition of performing this Ran Male. Got it, no?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
So, as you said that tiger is related to water. So, how it is related, and if we have only 3 tigers, if all 3 tigers get disappear, what will happen? And one more suggestion I would like to take was when you discuss about the vegetable, it was very fascinating. So, would you suggest any book where we can learn more about the original vegetables?
Original recipe, there is no book, but my articles are available on the Google. So, and also there is one book called Credible Bioresources of Goa. Very big book is there. It is available in Saligaon at Goa State Biodiversity Board, where information about the traditional vegetables of Goa is made available in that book by me. My photographs are there, and if you want to know about the recipes of the traditional Goan vegetable, article is there. So if you want more articles and the recipes, then you can contact me or you can contact sir and take these articles on the recipes of various wild vegetables. As far as the tiger is concerned, why tiger is related with water? You can see when the people are told that tiger is in the jungle, nobody will enter into that jungle, and jungle gets the legal protection, the cultural protection, the social protection. So when you protect the forest, then only the monsoon rain falls. It is absorbed by the roots of the tree and it percolates down into the soil and it is stored, and whenever we require the water during this winter, during the summer, it is released through the spring. So when you protect the tiger, naturally you are offering protection to the forest cover. So that helps in getting you good oxygen and good quantity of the water. So that is why tiger is related with the water. So very good thing. I am very happy because you asked as many questions as possible, because the best sign of becoming the teacher is asking questions, and when you will become the teacher, got it, no? You should encourage the student to ask questions. The new education policies, if you read, it emphasizes on teacher role as a facilitator. You should not go and tell, I am the person who is telling you whatever information that is final. If you say like this, you will be just like the Louis XIV of the France, who used to say, I am the state, I am whole and soul. Got it, no? So finally he was pulled out by the people and put on the guillotine and he was hanged and killed. Got it, no? So you don't become teacher like that. In USA, teachers are killed by the student. Why? Because teacher perform the role as a dictator. So don't be the dictator. Allow the child to ask as many questions to you. So inquisitiveness is the characteristics of the student. Inquisitiveness means जिज्ञासा. You should promote the जिज्ञासा. जाणून घेण्याची वृत्ती विद्यार्थ्यांमध्ये आपण प्रोत्साहित केली पाहिजे, आणि ती जेव्हा आपण विद्यार्थ्यांमध्ये निर्माण करू तेव्हाच आपण खरे शिक्षक होऊ. So I am very much thankful to the Sandesh Gawat sir and also to Dr. Bhushan Bhave sir for providing this forum to me and providing this batch of the students who are asking questions. Got it, no? So if you ask questions, it is the indication that you are loving the knowledge. So knowledge can be shared only when you ask the question, and even if your smiling face is also indication that you are grasping what a speaker is telling to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us about our natural heritage of Goa. You are the truly resourceful person. Now I request Ms. Yogita Gavas to propose a vote of thanks.
Melody Betty once said, and I quote, "Gratitude makes a sense of our past, brings peace for today, and create a vision for tomorrow." I unquote. A very good evening to everyone present here. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. At the onset, I extend my gratitude to Shri Rajendra Kerkar sir for enriching our understanding on the natural heritage of Goa. Your experience in the field has truly reflected through your words of wisdom. I would like to thank our principal, Dr. Bhushan Bhavi, for encouraging and supporting us throughout the planning and execution of today's program. I also thank you, our Vice Principal, Dr. Anil Thosre sir, for guiding us throughout the program. I am also grateful to my colleagues for making this session successful. Last but not the least, a big thank you to each one of you present here. You have been truly an amazing audience. Thank you very much.